Good afternoon, villagers. It is February 12th, 2020, and it's time for your daily dose of Disney. How are you doing? Lots of loves and hugs to Doug. Oh, that's very sweet, Mike. Thank you so much. How are you doing, Mike? It's good to have you here. It's been quite a day around here. Yeah, things are changing around here, but you know what? Change is inevitable, but I'm okay. So things are okay here, but we'll see what happens. Hope you're all having a good time. Yeah, how are you doing, Doug? I know we're on Squirrel Watch 2020 still, and the little guy was crawling all over the house this morning, and Doug sent me a video, and let's just say I can't play the video here. It would not be appropriate. But we have to figure out, I'm hoping, really hoping that this squirrel will take the bait in the cage that we have out there. Peanut butter, almond butter, whatever. I'm really hoping that the squirrel takes that bait because we really need to get rid of that squirrel. Oh, Mike, I'm doing well. Thank you. Wow. So I'm only seeing 2 people in the chat so far, but I guess we'll go ahead and get started. I'm kind of surprised by that, but guess we'll see what's going on. It's February 12th. And for this one, it's just me and Mike. Oh, I think someone else just joined. Oh, I hope so anyway. It's always nice to have people here. There's Samantha and Rachel Fithian. Hello, Rachel. Samantha, great to have you too. It is February 12th, 1809, according to the first item on my list. And the reason why I put that, today's Abraham Lincoln's birthday. And Abraham Lincoln is significant in the world of Disney. While he was the 16th president, good, notifications just went out. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for that information. So, hi, Amy. How are you doing? By the way, people, I'm seeing Amy here in the chat, and Amy, I guess, has 1,000 subscribers, but she's trying to get her view time up. So if you could be so kind, Amy, if you've got a playlist going, can someone please drop that playlist in the chat so that we could actually help out Amy with that? Mike Bush, thank you so much. It is glad to see that you're here, but thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that. Yeah, you don't have to necessarily participate in the chat, but it's always nice to have villagers here. Thank you so much. Okay, great. Amy's got playlists. Someone please drop a playlist to Amy's channel. She is trying to get some of her watch time up. I'm sure she's anxious to get 4,000 hours so she can proceed with her channel. So everyone, yeah, after the broadcast, go check out Amy and set it up so that you can run a playlist for her. Anyway, 1809. English teacher in France. Hello, how are you? I'm doing well. How are you? Thank you for joining the stream today. Abraham Lincoln, born on this day in 1809, 16th president. He was born in a one-room log cabin in Kentucky. And eventually he moved to Illinois, where he became an attorney and was also president from there. He was also the first president to be born outside the original 13 colonies. So that's what it says. That's what I saw in my research. Shelley Starwalker, always a pleasure. Thank you for being here. But Lincoln is important in Disney's history because Walt Disney was a huge fan of Lincoln. Even as a young boy, he dressed as Lincoln for a presentation in his school classroom. He recited the Gettysburg Address. And he was so fascinated and so taken with it that when the state of Illinois approached Walt about sponsoring a pavilion for the 1964 World's Fair, he said, yes, and this is what we will do. They created audio animatronic figure of Abraham, and eventually he was transferred to Disneyland, where it became Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln on Main Street at the Main Street Opera House. Carlos, good to see you. Thanks for being here. On this day in 1934, now, mind you, Mickey is a famous character, and he's trademarked. They trademark Mickey hard for the Disney company. No one can use Mickey Mouse without permission. And so he had already been trademarked for motion pictures. Walt did that in May of 1928, even before the cartoon came out. He wanted to make sure that he owned the trademark of Mickey Mouse so that no one could take it from him. That was his experience that he got from Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. So he learned from that lesson, trademark your intellectual property. So he did that with Mickey. But on this day in 1934, he did it so that Mickey Mouse could be used in books and newspaper comic strips. That's pretty interesting. Jim, Mr. More Sunshine, please. Hello, how are you doing? It is great to see you. Jim's going to be on with the Disney Nerd Herders a little later in about, a little less than an hour now. He's going to be on at 7 o'clock p.m., but I'll announce that in just a little bit again. So that was in 1934. 1958, on this day in Long Beach, California, there's a shipyard that's there, and they actually built a steel hull for a ship, and that ship was for Disneyland. That is the sailing ship Columbia. And this was something interesting that I just found out, and that was that the Columbia was the first three-masted windjammer to be built in the United States in over 100 years. They built it for Disneyland. Oh, thanks, Mike. Very interesting. It's installed at the Rivers of America, and on very busy days, you will see the sailing ship Columbia in circulation on the river. It'll take turns with the Mark Twain. The river can get very busy on crowded days at the park, and so they will get the Columbia out there, and people will take the Columbia. It's a very interesting ride too, going out there. And then one thing that I absolutely love is the fact that they use the sailing ship Columbia for the show Fantasmic. At night, you get not just one, you get two huge boats for the Fantasmic show. In the case of Fantasmic, there's a whole series about Pirates of the Caribbean, so they use the sailing ship Columbia as a pirate ship, and then at the end of the show, they use the Mark Twain. But the Columbia ship is really featured a lot on the Rivers of America, and on this day in 1958, they finished building the steel hull for the ship that would eventually become the Columbia. And then in 1999, this one, I still have never seen this, mainly because I really wasn't a fan of the TV show that it was a remake of. But on this day, Disney released a movie called My Favorite Martian, starring Christopher Lloyd, Jeff Daniels, and Ray Walston was in the movie too. Ray Walston actually was in the original television series from the 60s. My Favorite Martian was apparently a very popular show. I never really cared for it, but the plot of the movie is when a Martian spacecraft lands on Earth, a television reporter named Tim O'Hara visualized his upcoming fame by breaking what he sees as the story of the century. And then we also had a Pluto cartoon that played before that movie. Pluto Gets the Paper Spaceship. So that was in 1999, some 21 years ago today. And again, I never saw that movie. So you know what? Maybe it's on Disney Plus. Maybe I'll catch it. There are so many movies that I'm starting to add to my list now that I need to watch on Disney Plus. Okay, let's go one more year. And this is the last item I have for history here. In the year 2000, Disney fans dressed up in formal gowns and tuxedos, and they attended a royal ball. Now, why was this royal ball held? It was to celebrate Cinderella's 50th anniversary. And they did this at the Disneyland Hotel. Now, Cinderella didn't come out until March of 1950, but Disneyland was one step ahead of the game here for that 20 years ago today, in the year 2000. Cinderella's my girl. All right, Cynthia. So, yeah, they did a royal ball at the Disneyland Hotel in 2000. Yeah, Disneyland does a lot of little special events like that. So anyway, I'd like to thank my mods, my moderators here. Thank you so much for everything you do. You help me out so much. When the chat can get a little dicey, you help kick people out. And you have no idea what that means to me. Knowing that I don't have to worry about that, you're right on the job. So thank you so much for doing that for me. Yeah, definitely, Shelly. A star to the mods. Thank you. And then also my support channels. And you've seen Mr. Jim here. More Sunshine, Please. He's one of our support channels. Really, really appreciate him being here. And his help. If you didn't catch it, Monday night's stream of the Taste of Valentine's Day, Jim, stellar performance. Jim was just fantastic during the show. So thank you, Jim. So he's one of our support channels. Also, D&G Explorers, they're going live tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Jim will be on tonight at 7 p.m. with the Disney Nerd Herders. So that's the Disney Nerd Herders channel. And they're going to be doing their Disney thing as always. And of course, my other support channels, Rob Fuzz, Two Real Geeks, and Richard, the Orlando guy. So thank you so much, my support channels. Thank you for all you do for us. Oh, Jen, Mike, great to see you back. Thank you so much. But like I said, we're under Squirrel Watch 2020 again at the Villa. We need to make sure that, oh, thank you, Carlos. We need to make sure that we catch that squirrel because I am telling you, that thing is terrifying. It's terrorizing our house. It's crawling all over the stucco. I don't want damaged walls on the outside. That's the last thing we need to do. So anyway, we're under Squirrel Watch 2020, and Doug is doing everything he can to catch that squirrel. Thank you, Doug. So that's what's going on today and tonight. Appreciate all of you being here for this edition of the Daily Dose of Disney. Be paying attention. Tomorrow, Ben will be dropping a video. Life with Ben. Life with Ben will be premiering tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. Yes, we got to keep the squirrels away from Keith, the pepper tree. Definitely. Oh, thank you for dropping that, Carlos. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's the show where Jim is going to be on with Charlie and the Disney Nerd Herders. So yeah, Ben's going to be on tonight, or tomorrow morning rather, with Life with Ben. So go make sure you check that out tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific for another episode of Life with Ben. And I'll be back tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific with another edition of the Daily Dose of Disney. So everyone, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Really appreciate spending this time with you. Hopefully a hot dog show instead of burgers. Carlos, it's not going to be hot dogs, but I'll put that out there because there are a few hot dog joints here in the Bay Area that we could definitely do. Right off the top of my head, I can think of Top Dog and Casper's. Those are two that I can think of right now. Don't think we'll do Wiener Schnitzel because we'll try and keep it local. But I'll pass that one on to Ben, Carlos, so that we can check out that good hot dog comparison. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this edition of the Daily Dose, and I'll be back tomorrow. Everyone, have a magical evening and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Bye, everyone.